Welcome back to The Huddle. I'm your host, as always, Maya Perez, and in today's episode, we have our experts here to discuss your favorite sports, specifically NHL, MLB, and NBA. Let's start off with hockey, though. In the NHL, we're right around the corner to the end of the regular season and the start to the playoffs. With two teams already clinching a playoff spot, many more look to follow suit. Now, looking at the standings, there are definitely some contenders, but there are also some pretenders. Kyle, Nate, and Justin, what do you think of the playoff race coming down to the wire?
The National Hockey League's playoff is as tight as can be as this race is coming down the stretch with only a few games left, around under 10. Contenders or pretenders, they're out there right now. I think there are more pretenders than there are contenders at this stage of the game, especially out west and out east. You look at the Pacific, it's gross.
It's very much so.
It's gross. You look at the Central, and it's scary. And then you look at the East, and it's a laughingstock.
The drop-off from the top three teams, I'd say, in the Central. You know, you have the Wild, you have the Stars, and you have the Avalanche. Those are like juggernauts of teams. Then you look at the rest of them, and it's just bad upon bad upon bad. I think almost you could say the entire Central, other than those three teams, are pretenders. And then Pacific, you know, you have teams that are kind of trying their hardest, you know, like the Ducks, and then you have Edmonton, who's always been good, and then you also have the Knights, who are kind of taking a back seat a little bit. But I just think the West compared to the East, now we were talking before, I think the East is just so much better than the West. Now my reasoning is, you look at the distribution of points, okay? If you look at the East, every single team, other than like a couple teams, if you put them in the West, they'd be in a playoff spot.
Do you understand that the Eastern Conference team play the Eastern Conference teams more than they play the Western Conference teams?
But at the same time, you know, I just don't understand the argument with, you look at those teams, and other than the top three on the Central, I just think there's the most mid teams there.
Well, I do agree with you. I'd say my biggest pretender, going back to contenders and pretenders, is the Anaheim Ducks. Despite being first in the Pacific, they have a negative goal differential, which is insane to me. And also, I just don't really believe in a lot of their pieces. Like Cole Gauthier, he's cool and all, but like. I need a little more of that. I need a star player. I need a Bedard in your celebrate.
Yeah, the thing is about playoffs, especially NHL playoffs, which is unlike any other playoffs around, is that it's such a grind game come playoffs that depth and the veterans you have on your team are going to be the reason why you win hockey games, why you can win a game 7, close out in 6, close out in 5. If you don't have that experience and you don't have that grittiness to willing to go hard on the boards, you're not going to really get out of the first round. You barely make it into the second round. And I think that's what the Pacific's missing right now. And I also have to think that's what most Eastern teams are missing, and is why the Cup's going to come from the Western Conference this year.
I wouldn't say I disagree with you, but what I will say is, you know, talking back to the Ducks, I think they are pretenders just because we've been talking about it all throughout the year. They're just a young team. They have a lot of guys, as you said, you know, you need that veteran presence. But at the same time, you have those young guys, it's next man up. And you look at like someone's gonna be a star in the playoffs for that team. Someone's gonna be a star. We've seen for the Central, I mean, the Avalanche are stacked, but you've seen kind of Kirill Kaprizov for the Wild kind of assert himself as that guy. And I think when you look at the East, I agree with the point that there's not really that guy in the East and for any of those teams. But I will say, I am very happy with how the Eastern Conference has turned out, because I will say this much right now. As a Buffalo Sabres fan, I have not had anything to look forward to for the past damn near decade. And my team, the Buffalo Sabres, I can confidently say, they're like 5th or 6th odds to win the Stanley Cup. They're the top of the Atlantic Division. I'm happy, but I do think the East just has a couple sleeper teams rather than the West. I do agree with your point. It's kind of more gritty, but I think everyone is sleeping on the East.
I think the funniest thing, sorry, Justin, but I think the funniest thing, because I think you're about to tag on to what I'm about to say, is that the Sabres, yes, they're about to win their division, and as a prize for that, they're about to lose to the Boston Bruins in the first round.
No.
Like that's exactly what they're going to get. They're going to get a really, really tough wild card team, and like I said, come playoffs, and this is something I'll die on I'll die on, is that if you don't have experience, which we all know the Buffalo Sabres don't, and then even the people that they brought in don't have a lot of experience either, it's Crumble City, man.
Yeah,
It's a different beast.
They are such pretenders. They are the biggest pretenders I have ever seen in my entire life. You look at the other top dogs. You got the Tampa Bay Lightning. They got Kucherov, who's leading the entire NHL in points. Look at the Sabres. Tage Thompson is cool. Rasmus Dahlin is cool. Owen Power isn't cool, but he's there too, you know. It's just like when it comes down to sort of that fourth line, that third line, that extra penalty kill that you need in the playoffs, who are they going to turn to? They don't have that right now. That's why I thought their trade deadline was a little lethargic and disappointing.
I will say the trade acquisitions I questioned a lot because I don't think we really needed help on the defensive side. You know, you get Braden Shen and Logan Stanley, who haven't really done that much, I would say. But I think I'm in mania pretty much because I've never seen the Sabres in the playoffs, and you know, you go back to their heyday, like they were a team that was arguably considered one of the most exciting teams to watch. And you know, I think just them being in the playoffs, I'll be satisfied. Again, I said it, if they get a win, I'll be happy, but like, do I expect them to win the cup? Obviously not. Like, they're the biggest underdogs probably in the playoffs just because they haven't made the playoffs in 14 seasons, I think it was.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the stadium where the Sabres play, but all I know it's going to be bumping. Because let's be honest, they're making the playoffs. They're in a position.
It's all but
locked up as long as they don't have a tremendous fall off.
It is Buffalo.
It is Buffalo, but I mean, it would be something we'd be talking about for decades. But that place is going to be bumping. We've seen it when they could barely sell $1 tickets, and now that they get to have, you know, Buffalo, the Buffalo Bills fans, I mean, they're diehard. If Buffalo Sabres can get something like that, would be really good for the NHL. But as a team in the whole, I mean, first round exits.
I think we're similar in comparison to the Ducks because, you know, you take a look at the Ducks, they don't really have that veteran presence. They're a very young team. We are one of the youngest teams, and we kind of don't have that veteran presence. I mean, you could say Tage Thompson, he's not really a veteran, though. Logan Stanley, again, is not a veteran. Dahlin, I think, is getting his way to becoming that, like, guy, but he's not there yet. But going over to the Metro, I think that's a more interesting playoff race just because it's so tight. As well, going back actually real quick to the Atlantic Division, the Canadians also don't really look like a bad team. You know, Cole Caulfield is having one of the best seasons he's ever had. And you kind of look at they kind of have both the veteran presence and the young talent. I also think I think they're contenders just for that fact. And it's going to be exciting come playoff time.
I don't disagree with the Canadians. However, I do think the two top contenders in the East, it's kind of been a lot of what we've seen in the years past. It's the Tampa Bay Lightning, and it's the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah, I was going to say, going to the Metro, Carolina for sure.
I cannot wait to see the Hurricanes get swept again in the Eastern Conference Final, dude. It's the funniest thing. It's the funniest tradition. It's hilarious how awful they do once they make that ECF. It's hilarious.
It's the same with the Rangers, like, for the past seasons. They're in a world of hurt right now. I don't know what the hell they're going to do. But the Rangers and the Hurricanes kind of had that same thing. You know, they'd get to the Eastern Conference Finals, or, like, they'd get to the second round, and you just see nothing. I mean, and then you look at teams kind of like the Penguins. You look at teams like the Islanders as well. Those teams, now the race is so close that I think it's either or, the Islanders or the Penguins. But you look at Sid the Kid, obviously, on the Penguins. He's one of the best veterans, if not the best veteran to have. And then you look at the New York Islanders, kind of have a little bit of both. You know, you have Matthew Schaefer, who's been an incredible defensive player.
Matthew Schaefer has done just wonderful things for that team. I mean, obviously, first overall pick. He's going to come in. You expect him to, you know, change a franchise around, but that offense alone, that first power play unit that he's on, has, I mean, just absolutely changed the trajectory of the Islanders. I mean, Islanders used to be where the Rangers are now, the laughingstock, the second-hand team in New York. And now they are, even though they're right on the edge, they're going to be a serious threat. But that's going to be all the time we have for you today on the Huddle. NHL playoffs are coming up soon.
You want to Stanley Cup picks, maybe?
Stanley Cup picks?
Yeah,
we did it early in the year, so we'll do it.
Well, I know, because unfortunately, it's your last episode, right?
It is my last episode, so I guess I will send it off by saying the Cup winner this year is going to be.
Don't say the Vegas Golden Knights.
I wanted to say that.
No, don't you?
I'm gonna go with the obvious choice, Colorado Avalanche.
I don't hate that pick. Nice. I'm gonna take a team in the East. I think I'm not gonna pick the Sabres, but I'm gonna say Carolina.
You're going to say Carolina.
I think they get over
I'm going to say the Tampa Bay Lightning. I believe in Kucherov and them.
Please, no.
All right, well, that's all the time we have. Thank you. He said the Rangers early in the year. Bye.
Thanks, guys. In the baseball world, the World Baseball Classic just wrapped, and you know what that means. The opening day for the MLB season officially kicked off by the time this episode aired, with the Yankees versus Giants starting matchup, with Aaron Judge and the Yankees taking on his childhood team in the San Francisco Giants. Let's hit it on over to Jeremiah and Justin to tell us more. What are you guys most excited about this season?
The MLB season is upon us finally after so long of waiting. Not that long, but you know how we are. We're anxious for that baseball action. So this season, I'm going to say what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking for another great Philly season. We've won the National League East the past 2 seasons, going for a three-peat. I think that's very, very cool of us to do because we're kind of like that team. We're getting older, but we have infused youth with Andrew Painter and Justin Crawford and making the opening day roster. So that's kind of the thing that I'm looking forward to as a Phillies fan, of course. As a baseball fan, I'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, for me, I'm looking forward to the New York Yankees this season. The New York Yankees,
I'm aware of them, but
coming off a good season, which should have been better, should have been executed better as a team. But this offseason, not the biggest, signings as we expected to sign a couple more players or spend some more money, but we re-signed 2 great outfielders. I think we have one of the best outfielders in the league, no doubt about it, on the bat side and on the defensive side. Those 3 in the outfield are unstoppable as well. But just the team as a whole, I love the pitching rotation we have this year. And when injuries are done, we're going to have a better pitching rotation, and I just can't wait to see the Yankees play this season.
You can tout how good your outfield is all day long, but your left side of the infield is trash, brah. You got Anthony Volpito at shortstop.
No. He's out for a couple months.
Well, yeah, but he'll be back. Oh, I'm sorry. You got Jose Caballero. That's so much better. And then you got Ryan McMahon, who couldn't even hit that well at Coors Field, and now at the Yankees, he's been all right, but he's not really that guy. So honestly, I think that's going to hold you guys down. But overall, I think that American League East is going to be really competitive anyways. And are the Yankees maybe the best team with their pitching in their outfield? Maybe. But honestly, I'm looking for a little repeat season of the Toronto Blue Jays. So refreshing to see them in the World Series last season. I hope they repeat, even with the loss of Bo Bichette.
Yeah, we saw them. They had a great season last year. Yes, they didn't get the World Series championship like they did. They did put on a good show with that series against the Dodgers. It was a great series, staying up to 1 a.m. for some games just because they don't know how to score, both teams. But at the end of the day, regardless, though, I think it's going to be not much seeing them. I think losing Bo Bichette is kind of a big factor of that team. Every team has a puzzle. Every team's a puzzle, and they just lost a big puzzle piece of that team, of that squad as a whole. So I'm not really exactly too sure about them compared to how they were last season, but also just that pitching. I'm just not as confident as I am in the Yankees.
You can say that, but I will say their pitching got a bolster when they signed Dylan Cease from the San Diego Padres to that big extension. Big deal. Excuse me, not extension. He was never there. But honestly, I'm looking more on the side of individual performances this season. We could easily chalk up the Cy Young and MVP races already. Say Judge and Ohtani for MVP and Skubal and Skins for Cy Young. But let's throw a wrench into that.
You think Skubal goes again?
I'm saying yes, absolutely. In the American League, who else? Crochet maybe, but other than that, I think it's Skubal's a lose. Don't say any of those 4 names. Who do you think is going to be the MVP in both leagues?
Okay. Both leagues. Okay, on the East side, I'm gonna go with
East side.
On the
American League side.
On the American League, I'm gonna go with. Dang, that's hard.
All right, so
if you
while you think about that,
if you have your
I'll
answer,
go ahead. I'm going to throw dark horse American League MVP candidate Julio Rodriguez of the Seattle Mariners.
Okay.
He has it all. He has the defense, he has the average, he has the power. He's kind of a 5-tool player, which you don't really see that much of at all. And the other guy I think I'd love to pick, Bobby Witt Jr., another 5-tool player. Hits for average, hits for power, steals bases. Some of the best defense we've ever seen at shortstop. He's kind of that guy. He is that guy. He would definitely be one of my picks. You think of somebody yet?
Nah, well, not exactly, but I do like your take on Bobby Witt. I mean, watching him all his season, he's a great player as a whole, but just that side has just so much great players, so him winning it is hard, especially the two that we've already mentioned we can't say. But he is a great player overall on that squad over there. But I do love his game because if you watched him in the WBC, he was kind of the MVP for the Americans, or for USA, Team USA. And that's just, I don't know who else I would have. I do think that crazy take, I'm taking Juan Soto. I think he's going to have a fantastic season this year. After coming off of a bad season last year, I think he kind of adjusted. Will it be the biggest MVP season? Not too sure, but I'm not going to leave him in the dust as well.
Well, here's why he's not going to be the MVP this season, barring Ohtani, of course. It's just because he has no one around him. Since there's no one around him, you see they lost Alonso. Lindor bats ahead of him. He's the leadoff hitter. There's no one protecting him behind him. They can throw all the stuff to, or they can walk Soto all they want because the guy behind him isn't going to hit anything.
No.
And, of course, the loss of Pete Alonso. They lost Brandon Nimmo. They lost Jeff McNeil. The guys that they signed, Bichette, could he really thrive behind Soto? That's a tall ask for him.
Yeah, that's
and on the defensive side, don't even get me started about that guy. So, yeah. On more of the National League MVP side, I think my kind of crazy biased hot take is Trey Turner. Coming off one of the best seasons of his career last season, won the National League batting title, as well as the best defense he's played in his entire career. I'm looking for a repeat season. I like the guy. I like his game.
Yeah. So for me, on that side, I'm going to go with, well, actually, just overall, I want to go with Rafael Devers. That guy could hit the ball.
He can hit the ball. Can't do much else, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like
but,
that.
I mean, his career's coming to an end. Bro, he does not have much left in him.
He's got like 10 years left on his contract.
No, he does not. But he's not going to be like the Rafael Devers of the...
Well, sure.
For the next couple years. Like, that's not going to happen. He has like two, maybe three great seasons left.
That is fair. I mean, yeah, but also you kind of hit your power prime as a hitter when you're like 32, 33 anyway. I don't even think he's 30 yet. That is kind of a crazy take from you, but...
I say a lot of crazy takes.
You do say a lot of crazy things, especially on the Rounding Third podcast. Tune in every Tuesday at noon, Jeremiah and I, Rounding Third podcast on Spotify, Robo Sportsnet. But Devers, I think in that San Francisco ballpark, it's tough, especially as a lefty, because you have sort of Triples Alley in right field, where he'd probably be hitting it. But... yeah, MVP though? You're gonna have to elaborate for me.
That's true. Nah, that's true.
Oh, you back down. All right, score one for me.
What
How
about
Cy Young? Cy Young race?
Cy Young?
Yeah.
I'm taking Sanchez from your Phillies over there. I'm not gonna lie. I gotta take Christopher Sanchez over on your Philly side. And another guy I would probably take for a Cy Young would most likely be another great pitcher. There's actually a lot right now. I think another great pitcher would probably be Yamamoto.
He is a tough guy.
I think Yamamoto.
Do you think he can sustain it over a full regular season, though? Because he's a playoff demon and has shown spurts in the regular season of being that guy. But full 200-inning season for the Dodgers, National League Cy Young, you think he can do it?
No. Well, actually, I think so. I do think so because the Dodgers, like, I don't want to talk too much about the Dodgers because, like, I personally not the biggest fan of them, not really, as a Yankees fan. But overall, I'm just not a fan of that team. But I think that him stepping up as their pitcher, well, he's already their ace. But I think him taking that lead and that initiative is going to be great because we know the Dodgers don't have much of a bullpen. They have a closer now with Diaz. But other than that, like, I don't think the Dodgers really have a lot of pitching that they could really have to maintain the whole season. But also, we've seen him pitch, like last season, we saw him pitch like 7 innings. We see him pitch like 7 innings constantly. And that's kind of what we see with Paul Skeens as well. Because Paul Skeens doesn't have a team behind his back, but Yamamoto does have a team with bats behind his back versus Paul Skeens, who has nobody really with a bat behind him, which is what made them lose a lot. So I think Yamamoto is definitely going to be up there. I'll say top 3 for sure.
I do think it's going to come out of the National League East. Regardless on if it's Sanchez, as you said, he'd be my pick because that's me being biased. But honestly, even if you look at the Braves, Chris Sale, he's been doing it year in, year out. Even at his old age, he's still that guy. Yuri Perez for the Miami Marlins, he's kind of an up-and-comer. And you can't forget about Freddie Peralta for the New York Mets, the trade acquisition from the Brewers. He's also going to be an ace, going to have a great season. But looking more on the American League side, outside of Skubal, I honestly think it could be another Detroit Tigers pitcher. I think it could be Framber Valdez. It might be his year to win Cy Young.
Okay. I could agree with that. I could actually agree with Valdez right there. Yeah.
Oh, you're not gonna say Max Fried?
Nah, I mean, I would say Max Fried, but they're going to have to tune into our podcast because that is all the time we have for you guys today on The Huddle. Let's go back to Maya Perez.
Thanks, guys. I don't even know how anyone couldn't be tuned into the NBA world, but if you aren't, Luka Doncic has been booming every game. This season, he's had about 32.9 points, around 8 rebounds, and 8.5 assists per game. And he literally just won Western Conference Player of the Month in January 2026. But that's enough for me. Let's pass it to some of our experts who definitely know more than me. Whit, start us off. How can Luka and the Lakers keep these stats going for the rest of the season?
Luka Doncic has been on an absolute heater as of late. Last night against the Heat, didn't get the win, but 32, 7, and 6. This man, I think the game plan is simple for Redick and the Lakers. Give the ball to Luka. That doesn't work, give it to AR. That doesn't work, give it to LeBron. So I think LeBron's playing third fiddle in this system, and it's obviously working. I really like their chances going into the playoffs.
Luka is, in my book, #1 for MVP in this race. There are a few other guys that have made a great case in this season, but since the Lakers have gone on this 9-game winning streak, wherein which Luka has been the catalyst of it, Luka has played himself into has to be in the top 3 for the MVP race this year. On the season, averaging 33, 7, and 8, and the play that he has exhibited in the season this year has been stellar. He's got the Lakers at number 3 in the Western Conference right now. And one of the things that I think is the most amazing about his performance and his case for MVP this year is that LeBron James, the greatest ball player of all time, has taken not a second role, but played third fiddle while Luka has carried this Lakers squad to third in the Western Conference. He's got to be the MVP, man.
Yeah, you could say last season was LeBron's being the first option. It started off this season when AR was hot, and then now Luka's hot, and it goes Luka 1, AR 2, LeBron 3. But LeBron's still going to help to where he helps. But you have to run the ball through Luka because you see
he's magic.
He's magic, Luka magic, right? And then Luka, he will kill you with the little 1-2, step back, it's going to go in.
Hey, you know who else is a little magic? You could say out of this world magic, Victor Wembanyama. I feel like a lot of people had seen this coming, and me personally, I think everybody loves to like the newest player that's come up on the rise. I will give Luka his credit. He's been doing it so much longer than Wemby, but Wemby has been so impactful, and this is what, year 3 for him? And he's one of the top contenders for MVP, led the Spurs to the playoffs for the first time in such a long time. I mean, blocks. The guy is as tall as the Empire State Building, and he could shoot the 3. So I just think that's so cool, and I can't wait to see what's next for him and the Spurs come playoff time, and whether we can see if Wemby's really got that dog in him when it comes into the clutch.
I understand your take, but the league has been, Luka's owed an MVP. He's been in MVP conversations for way too long.
Yeah.
And he should have already won an MVP. Occasionally, debatable, but I feel like that. So this is his best shot. Yes, Wemby has great averages, but Luka's just more better for his team. Like, without Luka, the Lakers, they're not on that 9-game. They wouldn't be on that 9-game winning streak. They wouldn't be where they're at. They need Luka. Like, that trade for Luka changed their whole thing.
But the argument could be made that if Luka wasn't on the Lakers, that they would be worse. But if Wemby wasn't on the Spurs, I feel like they would be still pretty good.
Lottery.
Really?
Lottery.
Really?
Without Victor Wembanyama, he's putting up 24, 11, and 3 blocks a game. Did you see the press conference where he's making his case for MVP?
That's why I picked him. But they got a lot of depth over there, man. They got a lot of young talent, and so lots of depth. I think they could make a sneaky play-in run without Wemby. And with Wemby, they're one of the top teams in the West. That's why I have him checked in for MVP.
When's the last time you seen a player make his case for MVP without letting his stats just do his talking?
That's fair. That's fair.
Wemby's different. He's an alien.
Out of this
Luka
world.
Magic.
It's Magic versus Alien. Who's going to win the MVP race? I have the Alien.
But you also have to take into effect how the league might just give it a Shea because it's Shea Gilgeous.
Shea is number 1 in the standings right now.
That's fair.
And if you take into account outside of the games that he's missed for this season, he's more than likely gonna win the MVP race.
Hey, he's only got a couple games that he can miss. And
before he's disqualified?
Before he's disqualified.
That's unfortunate.
I know the NBA, I think, Players Association wants that rule abolished. But, hey, we come down to the late stages of the NBA season, and we see teams that like to shut down their stars come the late. That's why we saw the Cam Thomas, 3 40-point games, because the Nets shut down all their people. And so the Thunder can't shut down Shea if they want him to win MVP.
I think that's unfortunate. I don't think that that should have to have an impact to where this guy is not the obvious front runner for MVP is not allowed to have a case at the award because the Thunder are doing what great teams have done since the beginning of time. When it comes to your number 1 player, you got a chance to win finals. Of course, at the end of the season, you're gonna shut this guy down because if it's 3 or 4 games that are not gonna make a difference in where we're gonna fall out in the seeding, we're gonna shut this guy down so we're not at risk of losing our best player just so he can play in a few more games.
Hey, it's really like you can't have your cake and eat it too. Do you want Shea to win the MVP or do you want to try to go back to back? So speaking of other MVP kind of races, an MVP performance by Bam, I know it's a little old, but 83 points, that's up there with the historics of, Wilt Chamberlain, Kobe Bryant. So I think that it's a little fraudulent since they were
fake 83.
Yeah, that's
fraudulent 83 points.
That's what
Well,
I'm saying.
83 is 83. You can't hate on it. We don't even know if Wilt dropped 100 points. That's a debate for history. I don't believe he dropped 100 points.
Come on, son. We know.
Where's the video? Where is the video?
Hey, we know Kobe dropped 82 and 81, sorry.
That's a legit 81. My man's worked hard for that 81.
I agree.
Every bucket in that 81 counted.
Hey, it was against a Raptors team that was not the bottom of the barrel of the NBA, and they were kind of close all game. The Wizards were never in the game. Bam dropped 31 points in the first quarter. And then the Heat, this is what makes it non-ethical for me. The Heat were calling timeouts with a minute or so left to go in the game, up by 35, just so Bam could get more opportunity at the line. That's what I think made it unethical.
Shameful! Shameful! There's no way that they should be doing something like that. If any other team at any other level of basketball would do something like that, there would be a fist fight. okay? Them calling timeout so this man could get to 83 points was unacceptable, ridiculous.
If you're up by 15, it's a different story. They were up by like 30 though.
Well, you got to think though. If you have your best player doing something that hasn't been done since what, 2006, 2007, you wouldn't want him to do that. I get it, the risk of injury, but if he's continuing to put up the numbers and he's making his shots, let him go do what he has to go, what he's getting paid to do.
Fair, but like he was shot chucking logo threes, triple covered, and so a lot of it goes on the blame of the Wizards defense for keep fouling him.
The Wizards need to be relegated, dude. They need to be sent down to the G League for allowing this to happen. How could you let a player break Kobe Bryant's scoring record? Shameful!
You sound like Nick Young right now. Nick Young was so hurt when Bam broke it. He doesn't want to believe it. That's what you sound like right now. But you got to think, yes, the Wizards suck right now. They'll be better next season when they have AD and Trae Young. We'll give it time. But yes, it goes on the defense. If you're going to let somebody score, that's your fault.
Luka's 60 ball holds more weight to me than Bam's 83.
Okay, so to find out how the Wizards do and if there's any more high-scoring performances, come back next week on The Huddle.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of The Huddle. As always, I'm your host, Maya Perez, and tune in next week for another week of The Huddle. And make sure to follow us on socials, too. See you then.